real.
Of course it can be real on camera. The key is consistency, you freaking idiot. What's up, people? It is my favorite day of the week, Married at First Sight. Although, I like all of them. I like 90 Day Fiancé. I'm enjoying doing Love is Blind. I like doing Smothered. I like doing them all, but Married at First Sight, I don't know. The craziness that is getting married when you don't know the person, when you've never seen the person, going in with experts who aren't really experts, to everything falling apart, to other people maybe coming back together. It's a mess, and you gotta love it. First, before we get started, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so when any new videos come out, you get that notification so you know. We are trying to get to 1,000 because once we get there, we're not trying, we're gonna get there. Once we get there, we're gonna be looking at that live show. We're almost halfway there. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. We are gonna start out with Emily and Brennan because they have been the train wreck of all train wrecks, but something has happened in the fact of, or in her getting seriously injured. I mean, she didn't end up being seriously injured, but she did get a pretty bad wound on her head, and it kind of has changed the relationship a little bit. So instead of the negativity coming from them, it's almost a little more positive this week. Do I think it's going to last? Most likely not. But depending on how these things go, you never know. Things can change. Things can change. It is always possible. So let's see where they at.
Just getting her nourished, and then afterwards,
That's right.
Probably go back to bed.
That's right.
Continue to rest. So
you take care of your woman.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right, so this is what he should have been doing all along. He should have been taking care of her. He should have been there for his woman. He's not. Something flipped in him in that moment where she got injured. And the question is, does it last? Because you can go a few ways. For one, when something happens and you're not in the relationship, you can just cut tail and run. You can just leave and say, too much for me. Now, that's a douchebag move, but it wouldn't be the first time it's been done. Another option, you flip it for a while they're recovering, because you do have humanity in you somewhere in there, even though he hasn't acted like it at points, but you have humanity in you. You feel bad. You want to make sure this person's okay because you do care on some level, but then you just fall back into old patterns when they're okay, which is what I think will probably happen. Or, third option, you completely turn it around. People have flipped it for less when they've had somewhat of an epiphany, a big life event has happened, and they flip it and they change. And that could always happen. I don't think that's going to happen with him, but right now he's in a different headspace and he's actually treating her well. Who would have thought? He's treating her well. And he's still doing what he should do, being the good husband, accompanying her to appointments. Excuse my language, or that lack thereof. Excuse that. He is accompanying her to appointments and doing what he should be doing.
Just got done at the doc. He was able to take out all the stitches.
Took out all the stitches?
He seemed
that's a hell of a, look at that scar. That's a hell of a scar.
How you feeling?
Still feel
she has that
scary,
happiness back to her. Look at her face. She has that happiness back.
Yeah. Onwards and upwards.
Yep. And that is more positive than we're taking it day by day, day by day, day by day. That's all he said before. Now it's like, yeah, everything's good, onwards and upwards, all that. That is the attitude you want. Unfortunately for him, it seems it's in the moment. And I really think ultimately that is going to change. But I'm going to give credit where it's due. And right now, in this moment, he is doing what he should be doing. He's done a lot of things in the past that were just like, what the hell is wrong with you? But he is right now doing what he should be doing. If he could keep this up, they would have a good marriage, because a marriage is about taking care of each other, being there for each other, support system, always having each other's back. And that's what's happening right now. Now, she typically had his back for the most part from the beginning, and she started to sour towards the end, but now she actually has her happiness back. It looks like she has that smile on her face, like she's happy this is the person she saw on the honeymoon. So, look, I really, really hope he completely turns it around. I just don't think it's going to happen, but in this episode, it's going well. And she is definitely living it up for him actually doing things for her. Remember when he got his man card snatched for many reasons, one being he didn't even help her carry up the damn bags. Now he's doing what a man should be doing in taking care of things, especially when your wife is down. Things that maybe she would have done, or maybe y'all had certain things you do around the house, he's taking care of them because she's hurt and she's recovering. And that is what a man should do. Look, Mom, look at her. She's soaking it up. She couldn't be happier. She could not be happier about that. Like, get over there. Get over there. She's telling him what to do, telling him you need to mop, do this. No hesitation. When she told him that, the certain things he needs to do, no hesitation. Didn't give the typical attitude he would. Didn't do any of that. Nope, just did it. You know why? Because she's hurt. Because she needs help. And even though, of course, men can do things around the house, that's not what I'm saying. But he had no problem, didn't even question it at that moment. So, again, these are all great things that, if flipped permanently, would lead to a great relationship.
So happy he was there, and like
She's
he
happy.
doesn't even do
See?
well with blood, but like he
She didn't do well
really
with
pulled
blood.
it together.
He didn't faint. See? Again, he was there. He doesn't even do well with blood. Now, look, I know some people are squeamish. No one likes a ton of blood, but saying a man is not well with blood, it's just like, come on, man, just deal with it. You got to be there regardless. You're going to have to deal with blood. But he was there. She recognizes that he was there. These are all improvements to the relationship that should have been occurring, and it shouldn't have had to take her getting injured, getting a big old gash on her head for it to happen. But it's happening, and sometimes it takes the oddest of situations to realize what we might be missing out or what we might be messing up. So, kudos for the change and having an actual positive episode, because we haven't seen much of that with them.
You guys are doing great.
Yeah.
In our estimation.
Of course. Yeah. In their estimation, they are doing great. Now, what does that mean? In the experts' estimation, they are doing great. You know what they're trying to do? The experts are trying to take credit for this turnaround. You know what this was? This was an act of nature. Unless someone from the producer team went over there and threw a stick in her spokes for her to crash, for all of this to happen, which would be downright maniacal, but you never know, then you had nothing to do with it, and it's not your estimation. You threw two people together that were falling apart until something happened. So, don't take credit for it, Pastor Cal. What the hell are you doing, man? Come on. But I hope it works out. I really hope I'm wrong and he doesn't flip back. I think he probably will, but I hope I'm wrong. So, we will see. Now, in the never-ending attempt for Austin to just completely destroy his relationship, at least what it seems like, we are back with Becca and Austin. Now, Austin has had issues because he is always trying to find an excuse to not get more intimate with Becca. And it's getting to be more interesting because what the hell's going on? It makes you question, because there is always an excuse, literally. And now it appears that he is starting to do some of the things that the other guys have been doing, namely, potentially playing it up for the cameras.
Tried to help him open up a bag to
Talking
help
about
him,
the wolf
get
sanctuary.
the stuff in the bag, and
what
he
happened?
just, started mumbling under his breath, which is what he
So
does
passive aggressive. Come
sometimes
on.
when I just-
So she's saying that basically when they were at the wolf sanctuary, he was getting something in the gift shop, something with the bag, and he started mumbling under his breath. Very passive aggressive. Now, I will give, a little bit of leeway, considering he says it happened a little bit differently and no one was there. So it's a he said, she said. So I can't take what she says off face value. But that being said, he has been on a downward spiral with this for a while now. So there's a lot of issues. She's about at the end of her rope, so everything is going to be blown up out of proportion. So it could have been a little thing that she blew up because she's at this point where he's been doing this over and over and over, and she's just almost at that no turning back point. And I don't know if there is a turning back.
He admitted in the car that this last week
He admitted in the car.
has been questioning whether we would work or not.
Okay, so there you go. He's already said, according to her, again, the problem with off camera is we don't have a record of it. However, there seems to be a track record with these guys with doing things off camera, or at least that's what it appears. So he's admitted that he doesn't know if this can work, which is kind of what we've been saying all along, is I don't think it's going to work, since earlier on, maybe at the honeymoon, as they got more forward in the relationship, it seems like there's no way it's going to work, because he's just always trying to find an excuse to not get closer to her. And you know what you don't do? You don't find an excuse to not get closer with your wife. That's the craziest crap I have ever heard in my life. And yet that is what he appears to be doing. So she's about broken. He is a man continuing to look for an excuse. It's not going to end well, and it's already just crashing and burning. He's explaining what happened from his perspective.
The Wolf Center.
Bought some
and
trinkets.
They were like getting a bag for me.
Who
and
says
Becca was
trinkets?
Like, no, we don't need that bag.
Okay.
You can just put it in this bag. And like, there was a lot to like fit in there, and I didn't want it to get lost.
This
and
is
I
so
just, like,
petty.
Like, to me, that felt like.
This is
To me,
so
it feels
petty.
Like she tries to micromanage me.
That is the most petty crap I've ever seen. And you know what? You know what that says, that pettiness says? It says that they're about at the end of their rope. Because when you get to that point, everything is blown up out of proportion. She's saying he mumbled under his breath. He's saying she was trying to micromanage because she said something about fitting things in the bag of all things. So stupid. But that also just goes to evidence of they are at the point of they might as well get divorced now. Unless they make a big turn, end it now.
For that depth or that intimacy or like that connection in the same way like to when we're on camera.
Oh, talking about the camera.
Just because
and here's his
it
explanation.
happens on camera doesn't mean it's not like real.
Of course it can be real on camera. The key is consistency, you freaking idiot. You have to be consistent on or off camera. And right then, he should say, no, I'm not different off camera. If you are not different off camera, then say it. Say, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a different person off camera. Instead, it makes me think that he is kind of a different person off camera because he starts to kind of justify a little bit and saying, well, sometimes I just don't want to do this, or I'm not, just because I'm not going in depth, all these little justifications. And on top of that, now he's saying, just because it happens on camera doesn't mean it's not real. Okay, what about the off-camera part? If you're not doing things off camera, it makes it seem like you don't care. Now, like I said, there have been some issues from the beginning. He has been pretty much the focus that I've seen for a while now of the issues because he's always trying to find an excuse. However, I think they're both at the end of their rope, and so off camera, it's like they're not really trying. They are obligated on camera, but off camera, they're not really trying because why would they when they're about done? So they are not going to last. There's just no way unless they make some big turn. And is it possible? Sure. Anything is possible. All these couples could come back together and just live happily ever after. But is it likely? No.
Becca, do you want this marriage?
Ooh, heavy question there, buddy. Do you want this marriage?
Conversation in the car is just in my head, and like I feel like I've been.
See, she can't get past that conversation in the car. So it's in her head. She just can't stop thinking about it because he said, I don't know if we can make this work. Now, harsh freaking words. What the hell was he thinking? You know what they should do? Go away from the experts, go get yourself some actual couples therapy, and maybe you can work through it. Now, I'm sure they're contractually obligated. They can't go outside therapy. I guarantee that's in their contract. But that would be the way to successfully make it work. Instead, she can't get past it because who can blame her? He basically said, I don't know if we can make this work. You know, it might be a little more fleeting for a guy, but for a woman, that would be harsh to hear, and rightfully so. You hear, I don't know if we can make this work. It's probably going to be a pretty big blow that you are going to have trouble getting past, and that's what she's dealing with, along with all the other things that were already there.
And in cooperation with trying to make sure that you
What?
get to
Huh?
feel like you're your authentic self.
Oh my! This is why I don't like the experts. This is why I cannot stand them. Your authentic self, just be real. This whole concept of be your authentic self, just be real. Be your authentic self, your truth, validate my feelings, all these freaking statements, your feelings do not deserve to be validated. There's not your truth, there's the truth. And for someone to be their authentic self, that means you were lying the whole time. Just be real. We don't need to give the concept of someone can be multiple things. We don't need to give the concept of someone can say things and everyone has to agree with their feelings by validating. We don't have to give the concept of my truth by making it seem like an opinion is the truth. All of these things, this is why they're not therapists, because they use all these kind of terms and they try to make it seem like whatever you're feeling, yes. How about we talk to someone in real terms and tell them that some of this is crap. Some of what you're doing is crap. This softball approach is why there are so many thin-skinned people out there and why people cannot handle relationships, cannot handle friendships, cannot handle the real world anymore. Because of experts like that who go with the concept of, well, maybe you're just not feeling validated. This is why the experts don't work. This is why they are they're never going to make things actually work on this show, except for like 3 couples that they continue to trot out and say, look, it's working. Like The Bachelor or some crap like that. They do the same couples every time. Woo! I really hope they make it work, and not because of listening to the experts. But I am not optimistic. I am not optimistic on that one.
It felt like largely what you needed from me was validation.
No!
And largely what I needed from you was validation.
No!
No, the rest were really good.
That is what I'm talking about. See, what I needed from you was validation. What you needed from me is validation. You cannot just validate every feeling, because not every feeling you're having is valid. That's what the concept is. So I need you to validate my feelings. You needed me to validate your feelings. Okay, you don't need to validate his feelings when he is just outright trying to find excuses to not be with you. He doesn't need to validate your feelings when you're wrong on something. That's not that you hold each other accountable. You don't have to be a douche about it and just be completely an ass all the time, but you also don't have to be like, yes, everything you're feeling is real. I get it. No, you can be wrong. Men can be wrong, women can be wrong, anybody can be wrong, but if you have this concept of we have to validate everyone's feelings, guess what happens? Then no one's wrong, because you have to make their feelings feel like they're accurate, make them feel like they are real. No. No, 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 no. Woo! Oh my gosh, gotta love it. This is why it doesn't work. This is why it doesn't work. But there's one that I might have hope for that you might be a little bit shocked. You might be.
There has been sad moments.
Yes, it's Claire and
There's
Cameron.
been really hard moments, but
Listen
looking
to her.
back, it's like I've met this
She's living
amazing
in
human
regret.
being. He's so kind, unbelievably smart.
Where-
I respect him so much.
where was
the way
this?
He challenges me, like.
Where was this the whole time? This is what you call regret. This is what you have you call you don't know what you have till it's gone. This is what you call the grass ain't always greener. All of those things. She wasn't in it. He ended up leaving, and now she's having regret and realizing. Now, does that mean she's wrong or she's just doing it because he's gone? No. She might have actually realized that, hey, he was a decent guy and maybe I messed up. But this is the problem, because sometimes at that point, there's nothing you can do. But there might be hope. There might be.
Because if she...
Listen.
That she wants to stay together,
listen.
I'm going to stay together with her on decision.
Yes, Cameron. He is the one that left, but he outright said that if on decision day, because they're separated, they're not divorced, they're separated. If she says, I want to stay together, I will stay with her. I am not going to leave her. That is what a man does. That is what a man does. Even though he left and was like, I think we need to be apart, he still has a concept of standing by his woman. Now, I don't know what happens in the future episodes. It might get a little rough. I don't know. But at least in this moment, he is saying he's willing to stay with her. She is kind of having some regret. Maybe they end up together. Maybe they're the sleeper that no one ends up together, and yet they come back, and Cameron and Claire end up living happily ever after. It's possible. Crazier things have happened. Michael and Claire have had some issues from the beginning, from him being more feminine to her wanting to be in control and not knowing how to deal with that, and them having a little bit of clashes. Now, that being said, regardless of how he is, regardless of how she is, if he is walked away from again, I will feel bad for him, because overall, look, the demasculinization, the femininity, look, he's doing himself, he's being him, I don't care. Do you? I don't agree with the demasculinization that goes on, but he is himself. At the end of the day, he is himself. So, I don't have anything against Michael overall anyway. I will feel bad if she walks away. And this is not a good start to that potential happening.
Just the next few days
what's she doing?
Be at home with them.
Guess who she wants to be at home with? Her dogs. He's like, what he said was, I'm going to go get my dogs, get everything. I'm going to maybe take a quick nap here at our house, go get the dogs, come back here. That's it. That's what he was going to do. She wants to go and stay at her place with the dogs for a couple days because she needs some space. What the hell are you going to do in a marriage when you want some space? You cannot just go away for 2 days all the time because you need some space. This is your marriage. Now, granted, in marriages, you're apart sometimes. I'm not talking about being apart for one reason or the other. I'm talking about if you're like, hey, I need some space, I'll be back in 3 days. Like, for what? He didn't do anything to you. It's because you're trying to work things out in your head. And she's giving herself some conflicting signals, which we'll go over in a minute.
I think we just need that time.
Look at his
Kind of give us
face.
a chance to kind of take a deep breath.
He is not about this. Now, he goes into it. You can see his face like, yeah, that's an ugly face. But it's all over his face. He's not about it. But he goes into the fact that he's trying to be supportive. He's trying to make her comfortable, which, again, as much as he's out there and does his own thing, he is trying to be supportive of his wife. So I have to give him credit there. Like, she's the one that's constantly running away. And if it's because of him wanting to wear her earrings and the skirts and all this crazy crap he does, then she needs to say that instead of running away. Because right now, he's trying to be supportive and she's running away. Big problem. Then they have their housewarming party. Because remember, they are behind on everything.
Naturally, like, really considerate people. I mean, especially her.
Look,
Let's be real,
he's
more so
giving
than her.
her
I'm not
props
thinking
and everything
for
like
it.
that. Look, I don't know what that look is, but she does not look happy. But he's praising her. Like, we're both trying to be considerate people and everything, especially her. She is more considerate. He does it jokingly, but he's serious, like trying to give her props. Obviously a selfless act, trying to give her a compliment, instead of like a Brennan who's like, I mean, I'm a selfless person. I mean, I do everything for everybody and I don't do anything. I don't eat for days because I go feed the homeless when all of it's a lie. He didn't say that, obviously, but no, this guy's different. He's trying to give some props to his woman. He's trying to make her sound really good and give her praise. Very different. I don't know what this face is, this one right here, but it's hilarious. Look at that. Look at that. That is, I don't know what that look is. Good Lord.
Chloe is so selfless and
Look, see, he's doing it
always
again.
puts other people first and is always
He's
extremely
doing it
mindful
again. Like,
of
everything
how everyone
is
around her
praise.
is feeling, which is
Everything is praise. Everything he does is praise her. Everything he does is being supportive of her. If she wants a guy that is different from the guys she's dated in the past, then I get it. You're going to have to see past some things with the weird fashion crap he does and all the clothes. But he clearly is going to treat you right. Like, as far as treating you like you want to, treating you well, or is it just you just want the bad boy? Because and if it's simply that you have issues getting past some of his personality traits, then you need to say that and stop trying to just run away. Be honest. The same thing with Austin. Be honest. Be honest and upfront. Tell them what, even I'll give Pastor Cal a little bit of credit, because when they were talking about the whole earring thing, he's like, well, were you not okay with that? And she was like, well, and he's like, it's okay if you're not okay with it. That was one thing he said that was actually reasonable. It's okay if you're not okay with it and you need to say it. But she won't. Clearly, it's clear what's going on. She's not okay with him being more feminine in a lot of ways. But whenever some masculinity comes out, like with the American Ninja Warrior thing and like with what we're going to see in a second, she's all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, like, I see some man now. Like, she can't make up her mind. Instead, she needs to be honest and upfront.
I knew he was athletic and
Look,
strong
see?
and boxer,
See?
but I didn't know
Look
what
what
I
she's
was
doing.
going to see, and holy cow.
See?
That's great.
Back at it again. Now that she's seen him do a manly thing, boxing, and something he does on a regular basis, now she's like, oh my gosh, it's really like hot. Oh my God. Like, lady, you cannot be so flip-floppy. Like, you need to be honest and upfront. Like, if you're just driven by you see that, and so it's passion, it's being turned on, whatever you want to say, then okay, but you need to be honest about when you're not feeling that way because you see something he does and he's wearing your pearls again or some crap like that. Instead of just being like, oh, you're wearing my pearls again? I'm going to go hang out with the dogs for 3 days because of something that is not my pearls. Like, be honest. None of these people can be honest with the other. And one of the beautiful things you have about not knowing these people beforehand is that it should be easier for you to be honest with them because you haven't built that lifelong connection of, I really don't want to hurt your feelings. Instead, they're still doing it, and they're going to ultimately hurt everyone in the long run. Although, maybe some of them will work out. Probably not. You know Brennan's going to fall back into old habits. We're probably going to see Orion again, and he's going to still be like, I just want to be friends with Lauren, and all this crap. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll see Cameron hook back up with Claire, maybe, but probably not. It's going to fall apart. All of it's going to fall apart. Doesn't matter if we have good days. None of them are going to end up together. But you never know. I don't know. You never know. You never know what these things will happen. So we will see as it plays out. But thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate it. I love every Thursday we get to spend doing Married at First Sight. It is awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, hit the bell for notifications so you see when new videos come out. We are working to get to that 1,000 subscribers so we can do that live show. We are getting there. I appreciate it, and I will see y'all next time.